Hey guys, I'm Matthew Big and today we're going to be talking about all the games that happened yesterday in week 10 of the NFL season. I got mixed up. I thought it was week 11 there for a second. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about, so I'm going to go ahead and jump right into things. So first game we're going to go ahead and talk about are the Texans playing the Browns. And the Browns managed to beat the Texans 10-7. It was a really low-scoring game. It was a pretty good game, though, which I was kind of surprised. I expected the Browns to kind of take off. They've had a couple off weeks before this, but this one is a bit worrying. Now, yes, it could have been 17-7. Nick Chubb had a really good run where he went out of bounds at the one just so they could kneel the ball. He was being a good sportsman, which I can respect that, but I mean, it really could have been 17-7, but still, the Browns, both defenses played pretty well, which you could say the same for the Raiders game last week or a few weeks back. So Browns, they managed to play pretty well. Nick Chubb, by the way, I just mentioned him. He had a pretty good comeback game. He had been injured for a few weeks, came back, had a pretty good game, kind of carried the Browns to that win. The Texans, they got a win last week, and in my opinion, I think they played pretty well. I know I just talked about how the Browns have had a couple off weeks. They still are a pretty good team with a very explosive offense and a pretty good defense, in my opinion. So really, it was a pretty good game. The Texans surprised me with how well that defense played, and yeah, I mean, good things for the Texans. And the Browns, not looking too hot, but they're 6-3. They're doing just fine. Kind of falling out of contention for their division. I know they just got to win, but I mean, with the way their division is playing really well, not their division, with the way the Steelers are playing really well, we'll get to the Ravens in a second. It's looking like they're falling more and more out of the contention for their division, but it's always still there. They're only 3 games out. Next up, Washington football team playing the Detroit Lions. The Lions got the last second walk-off field goal to win the game 30-27. Washington's offense actually surprisingly had this is kind of like a flip-flop from what we've seen. Washington offense had a pretty good game. Antonio Gibson with 2 touchdowns. J.D. McKissick with 1 in the running game. Alex Smith threw for I think he had 390 yards of passing, almost 400 yards. So he is definitely back. He is definitely playing about as good as he has a couple years ago. And Washington offense actually played pretty well. But you look at their defense, I think they maybe got 1 or 2 sacks. I forgot to mention on the offense, I think they didn't allow a single sack. They might have allowed 1, but still, that's a lot better. Their offensive line has been playing terribly. Their defense actually played pretty badly in this game. So, I mean, we're kind of seeing their offense played about as well as you could expect. I mean, all the good players, Antonio Gibson, Terry McLaurin, Cam Sims even, a lot of players on that team had a really, really good games. That offense played about as good as we're going to see it play this whole season. And then the defense just completely collapsed on him. I mean, this is definitely might be the worst game that the defense has had. Sorry. I was trying to think because they definitely had a couple bad games earlier in the season. But, yeah, Washington's defense didn't play too well. If Washington's defense played as well as it did 2 weeks ago or even this week, they definitely could have gotten the easy win. Or not, it wouldn't have been easy, but if the defense had played really well as it has earlier in the season and their offense had played the way as it did, it would have been a pretty good game. Pretty good game for Washington. I'm sorry. I can't talk today. Next up, Jaguars at Packers. This was another game, kind of like the Browns game, where I expected it to be a blowout. I mean, I expected the Packers just to take this game and just have fun with it, go completely monstrous over. But no, the Jaguars kept it competitive. I mean, I think the lead went back and forth. The Jaguars were on top for a bit, then the Packers managed to come back. It was a really close game, but the Packers got the win 24-20, so the Jaguars are now 1-8. I remember back to weeks 1 and 2, where people were hyping up the Jaguars so much. 8-game losing streak, and now, I mean, it's pathetic to see how badly they're playing. Looking at the Packers offense, though, Aaron Rodgers definitely carried that whole team. I mean, the Jaguars didn't play too well, but looking at how well their offense did play, obviously, I mean, they did manage to keep it close. They only scored 20 points, but still, the Aaron Rodgers definitely carried them. They got to step it up, but they did manage to get the win. They are 7-2. They are still the number 1 team in their division, and I expect they would have to go on a complete and total collapse for them to lose this division with how badly the Bears are playing. I guess maybe the Vikings have a shot, but who knows. Next up, Eagles. The Eagles lost to the Giants 27-17. Really, really good game. Daniel Jones, Danny Dimes had one of the better games we've had over his past well, really over his whole career. So let's say the past 2 years, but that is his whole career. He definitely had a really, really good game. Looking on the other side of the ball, though, the Eagles played terribly, horribly. Very, very bad game on their part. They managed, they kept it within 10, but really, I even expected the Eagles to win this game. And no, the Giants went out there. They won. The Giants are now 3-7. They've overtaken Washington, and they are now the number 2 team in that division. The Eagles hang on to the number 1 spot in the NFC East at 3-5-1. That doesn't sound right, but it is. They're 3-5-1, and they're 1.5 games above the rest of the division. I'm telling you, whoever wins the NFC East is going to be 6-10 or 5-11. It's just that pathetic. Or I guess 6-9-1 and 5-10-1. That is a definite possibility. Because you look at the Eagles, they're 3-5-1. Do you really think they're going to go 4-3? I doubt it. Next up, Buccaneers playing the Panthers. The Buccaneers, this score does not tell a story. 46-23. The Panthers in the first half were playing great. I think it was tied at the end of the first half. It was a pretty good performance by the Panthers. They were going out there. Their defense was holding Tom Brady. I was thinking that we were going to, after that first quarter, definitely, I was thinking that we were going to see kind of not a repeat, but something similar to the Saints game. Not the score, but like how they played. Obviously, the Panthers are a way worse team than the Saints, but I was almost expecting to see the Panthers get a pretty big win there and the Buccaneers to start falling apart. But no, the Buccaneers came back strong in the second half. They outscored the Panthers 29-6. Sorry, I almost said 39. And the Panthers had a terrible second half, but looking at the first half, they did still have hope. Again, they didn't have Christian McCaffrey in this game. They got him back for the last game just for him to get injured in his shoulder. He should be back next week against the Lions. Don't know about Teddy Bridgewater, though. He also got injured at the end of that game for the second time this season. We'll see what happens. He had a pretty good game, all things considered, especially, like I said, in the first half. Buccaneers definitely bounced back from last week. And yeah. Now this game, Broncos demolished by the Raiders 37-12. The Raiders get the win and go up to 6-3. The Raiders defense played amazing. They completely demolished Broncos. I think Drew Lock threw 4 interceptions. He is looking more and more like a bust, but he's had some good games that tells me that he's probably going to have a couple more years of starting for the Broncos, which is not good if you're a Broncos fan. They believe in him. They believe in him a lot, so I guess it's a good thing. But really, it's not looking too good for the Broncos. And also Josh Jacobs and I can't remember the other guy's name, but the Raiders' rushing game was really great. Derek Carr didn't have to do much in this game, and they outscored the Broncos by 25 points. So pretty good game there by the Raiders. Broncos, complete collapse. Next up, Chargers playing the Dolphins. The Dolphins managed to win by 8, 29-21. The Dolphins are for real. The Dolphins, with Tua, they are 3-0. They are 6-3. They are, I think, 6th seed in the AFC now. They are above the Ravens. The Dolphins are for real. Yeah, the Dolphins, they are playing great. They definitely have a shot at this. I think they're I'm looking right here. They are 1 game away. 1 game away from their division. The Bills are 7-3. They are 1 game away. If they could be on top of the AFC East by next week, and I think, honestly, they might be the best team in that division. Just saying. I don't know, but if the Bills play the Dolphins next week, it better be primetime. Alrighty. Next. Wait, we're still talking about the Chargers. A lot of times we talk about how the Chargers play really well and they lost. The Chargers honestly didn't play well in this gun. I didn't know if that had to do. I don't know if that has to do with the Dolphins playing really well and they just, the Dolphins defense kind of overtaking the Chargers, or if that had a lot to do with the Chargers just not playing well. I didn't watch the game. I can't really tell. But from what it looks, the Chargers stat-wise did not play very well. So you can't say, they had a good game and then they got, unfairly, like we've seen in most other weeks where the Chargers, who are definitely better than their 2-7 record, got beat. Can't say this week. The Chargers, they got the loss that they pretty much deserved from the way they played. It's weird to say. It's a weird string of words, but it's from looking at how the season has gone, it makes sense. Next up, Bills Cardinals. Speaking of the Bills lost to the Cardinals 32-30. A last-second, not a last second, but I think second to last play, I don't know. I didn't watch the game, but I know that right at the end of the game, with 2 seconds left, Cardinals Kyler Murray threw a last-second Hail Mary for a touchdown, and the Cardinals got the win 32-30. Cardinals bump up to 6-3, and the Bills drop down to 7-3. They had a really good game last week, and I thought they'd bounce back, and they did play pretty well. I mean, they played really well, but they still lost to a team that, in my opinion, I think they should have beaten, because the Cardinals, they have a really good offense, but looking at the Bills and especially how they played last week, their defense is pretty good. Their defense is definitely pretty dominant, and I thought the Bills could get the win here, but the Cardinals, no, they played great. I remember looking at the score and seeing, I think it was 9-29 to I think 23. I don't know, and I thought, oh, well, this game's over. But no, they managed to come back. They got the win. So good thing about the Cardinals, playing really well, but still, they bounced back from that loss to, I think, the Dolphins last week. But the Bills not looking too hot right now. 7-3, one game away from losing that AFC East title that we all thought was going to be between the Patriots and the Bills. So far, it's looking like it's going to, well, not so far, but now it's looking like it's going to be between the Bills and the Dolphins. I would say so far at week 5, but no, it's week 11 at this point. Next up, Seahawks at Rams. Rams got the win 23-16. I think the Rams might be the number 1 team in the NFC West right now. The Seahawks on a 2-game losing streak aren't looking too good. I think actually, yeah, I think in their last 4 games, I think they've gone 1-3. The Seahawks have collapsed. They've played great. I mean, it was just the fact that they were going up against a really, really tough Rams defense that managed to get the best of them, and that, I mean, looking at this, I think what's it called? Jeff. I can't think of his name. The Rams quarterback, who for some reason I can't think of his name now. I'm going to think of it like 2 games later. Had a really, I think he threw for like 333 yards. The Rams offense had a massive game. They did what they needed to. They beat the Seahawks by 7 points. And the Rams, I think they take control of, not control, but they take the lead in the NFC West. You say control when it's 10-6 to 7-9. Next up. If you don't know why I'm looking down here so much, because I don't have a table. If I was a normal YouTuber, I would have like a camera up here and I would have my like notes set on a table and I'd be, eventually that will be me when I'm like 20. Next up, 49ers at Saints. I keep on saying at. 49ers and Saints played. Saints won 27-13. The 49ers 4-6. And like I was just talking about how the NFC South, the Rams are taking control at 6-3. The 49ers, 3 games out of that. I doubt they really still stand any chance of winning that division, but anything could happen. I mean, we've seen how the Seahawks have lost 3 out of the last 4. Every single other team in the NFC South is going to do the same. Anything could happen. I'm not going to put them out of contention just yet, but the 49ers aren't looking too good, and they just got beat by the Saints. Their offense didn't actually play too badly, especially in the beginning of the game. I think it was 10-17 at the end of the first half, and then they got outscored 10-3 second half. It was a rough game by the 49ers. Saints didn't actually play too well. Yeah, they beat them by 14, but really going up against the completely injured and destroyed Saints that we've seen, it honestly should have been a big blowout, and again, 14 points is pretty, I mean, it's okay, but the Saints could have done better. I'm just thinking of things to say. The Saints basically played how I thought they would. They just played ever so slightly underperformed. I don't know what I'm talking about. I do, I swear. Next up, I swear, I'm not this insane in most videos. Bengals, they got destroyed by the Steelers 36-10. They lost by 26 points. The Steelers bounced back from last week. Yeah, I know they won last week, but they only won by 5 points. They had to make a comeback against they're definitely, statistically, they're the worst team in the NFC, the Cowboys. They bounced back. Joe Burrow once again looks like the only bright spot, really. Oh, him and T. Higgins, like they're really carrying this Bengals offense. The Steelers are undefeated, 9-0. The Bengals 2-6-1. They get to play Washington next week, so that's a little bright spot for them. Though looking at how Washington's offense played, and how in every other week except for last week and maybe one other week, the Washington's defense has played, it's not going to be an easy win, but definitely the Bengals looking like they could be 3-6-1. But the Steelers bounced back on both sides of the ball. They didn't play well last week on either side, but no, they bounced back. Big Ben had a pretty good game. Yeah, what can I say? Steelers bounced back. Looking back at their winning form. When you beat a team by 26 points, you're pretty good. They're 9-0. They're looking like they're going to be 10-0, and on and on. Steelers probably could lose the rest of their season and still make the playoffs at this point. We've seen 9-7 teams make the playoffs. I wouldn't recommend it. Mike Tomlin, don't do it. Why am I pulling all these random scenarios out of the air? Next up, Ravens played the Patriots. You know the deal, Ravens. Oh, wait. Patriots won 23-17. We are seeing the Ravens collapse in full effect. Yes, last week they beat the Colts, but their offense looked terrible. And yes, they were going against a really tough defense in the Colts, but the Ravens offense of last week and the hyped up Ravens offense of this offseason, and a lot of people, I know a lot of people were saying that the Ravens offense was going to play badly, but a lot of people were saying the Ravens offense was going to be playing pretty good, looking at, me, who had Lamar Jackson as the best player in the league prior to week 1. Please don't hate me. But the Patriots that got the win 23-17 had a lot to do with the fact that the Patriots defense, I've been saying it for weeks, is really, really good. I don't care how badly they play. The Patriots defense is really, really well. And also on offense, they just ran the ball a lot. They did it last week, and now they're doing it again this week. They ran the ball, and that got them points. I think the number 1 rusher, who I don't remember his name, had more rushing yards than Cam Newton had passing yards in this game. They are just not letting him throw the ball. They've seen how badly he's played. They know he can make plays on the ground. They know he can make some passes. He's good enough. And this is Bill Belichick in full effect. He knows how to run games. He knows he has a good he knows he has a good defense, and he knows that his quarterback isn't playing too well. So he's going to run the ball, and he's going to play real defense civilly. I'm sorry. It's 6:16. I need to go to sleep. It's late. I don't want to go to sleep at 6. But anyways, I'm not going to be this insane in videos. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. We make videos every single day about the NFL. So if you like the NFL or you just like to hear me ramble, please subscribe to this YouTube channel and follow all the stuff in the description. It should be Twitter and Instagram and maybe a Patreon. I don't know. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope to see you in the next one. In fact, I know I'll see you in the next one. Or else.